I got I got an interesting thing for you, Steve. Interesting
Uh-oh.
thing I want to talk about.
Uh-oh.
The other night, I got into one of those YouTube dark holes of videos of like
Oh, like
conspiracy
where you just keep
theories and
going and going
videos.
and going and going. Yeah.
And I kid you not, there is something here that totally, completely changed my opinion about something I never thought would change.
Okay, and what's that?
O.J. Simpson is actually innocent.
I mean, I like orange juice.
Yo, no, but like for
I
for
prefer apple though.
for real, dude. Like O.J. Simpson, I don't think he did it. I'm not kidding.
Okay. You
People are
talking
like,
about like with his wife and everything?
yeah, his ex-wife and everything. You know the whole story, right? So,
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
I vaguely know about it, but I know of it. Yeah, like I
trial
mean,
of the
I didn't
century.
look into it.
Oh, dude, there's a great TV show. What is it? The People versus O.J. Simpson. They really broke it down pretty much, like with all the evidence and facts. They even made like they casted actors who look like them. It's great. Like I would recommend that.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yeah,
anyway,
where's it at? Where can you watch it?
I think it was an FX show, so it might be on Hulu because
Gotcha.
Hulu owns FX. Look, we're promoting other shows on our first episode.
I know,
mean, look
but
at
I
this.
want to know.
But I gotta tell you why, and I gotta tell the people why I think O.J. Simpson's innocent. And everyone's like, get the hell out of here. But let me tell you, O.J. Simpson, with the murders of, so he murdered Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. So Ron Goldman, they determined that he struggled, like there was a struggle before he died, which means like he fought back. Besides a small cut on his knuckle, OJ was stripped naked by the LAPD and they found no bruising on his body. Ron Goldman was a third-degree black belt. He had defensive wounds on his hands and multiple bruising on his hands and arms from striking someone. And at this time, it is recorded that OJ was going to doctors because of the wear and tear from his NFL career was starting to take its toll. So he was bruised up, not bruised up. He was beat up. His legs were worn out. Like, but he had no actual bruising or anything like that. So first off, do you think he's gonna win in a fight against a third-degree black belt when he's
No, he might
this
be a
this
yeah. I
worn
mean,
out
that doesn't make sense.
man?
Yeah.
So and without any bruises whatsoever. Like there was no sign that OJ got into a fight.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. Now this is why I think he didn't do it, and this is who I think did do it. His son, Jason Simpson. That's OJ's son. He had a record before the murders, and this was his record. He had he almost killed his ex-girlfriend with a knife, which was also used in the murders. Not the same knife, but he has a record with knives now. He
I
assaulted
think I
another
see where you're going
girlfriend.
with this.
He assaulted another girlfriend and came after his boss with a kitchen knife. He was trained in hand-to-hand combat as well as field knife training while attending the Army and Navy Academy. So not only has he used a knife and attempted to kill people in the past, but that seems to be his go-to weapon, and he has training with it from his past military experience. It is also on record that O.J. Simpson was squeamish around blood, and if anyone knows anything about the O.J. murders, the crime scene was so bloody. Like, it was disgustingly bloody. So if he's squeamish around blood, that probably wouldn't be the best scenario for OJ. Now here's where it gets even more interesting.
I think I know where it's going.
His son Jason was off his antipsychotic meds at the time. So he'd been diagnosed with intermittent rage syndrome or intermittent rage disorder, which is commonly known as Jekyll and Hyde syndrome. He had been known to black out, hear voices, and just go crazy at any time. He had been committed to the hospital several times and was given medication to keep it under control, but had to stop taking it months before the murders. He stopped taking it. Months before the murders. As in, like, the medication was wearing off and he was returning to his ways. And I don't know if you ever experienced anyone that might be, like, bipolar or anything, but when they're off their meds, you can kind of see they're starting to come back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
you get prescribed some of that medicine, the doctor will say you need to keep this in your system just a little bit. Like if you miss a day, they're like you need to not miss.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you have to keep it in your system. It's something you need to like.
And he was off of
becomes a
it
part of you almost.
for months, and it was something that he was he was admitted to a hospital for. So it had to be obviously like very serious, especially when you look at the past record and all the other things that he experienced and dealt with. I'm not saying there's an excuse or anything like that, but he's obviously someone that struggled with mental illness. So then now, moreover, at the scene, the cops found a knit cap with hairs from a black male and a dog. OJ didn't have a dog and didn't wear knit hats. But you know who did? His son Jason had a dog, and he was known to wear the knit hats often. DNA was found under Nicole's fingernails that didn't match OJ's, but they were never tested against Jason's DNA. In a storage locker, a knife owned by Jason fit the knife that was used at the scene. The knife that the cops thought OJ used did not fit any of the wound patterns. The LAPD found 15 unknown fingerprints at the scene, and none matched OJ. They never compared them to Jason Simpson's known fingerprints. Once the LAPD locked in on OJ, they potentially missed opportunities to find the real killer. He had no alibi that night or during the time of the killings. His time card from his employment place was handwritten, even though they had an automatic machine there that was working. He was upset that Nicole didn't come to his restaurant the day of the murder, and by all accounts, he had a love-hate relationship with his stepmother. And the last thing is, OJ hired a criminal defense lawyer for Jason 4 days after the murder, when OJ at the time was the only subject. That's like the whole thing right there, but I mean, that's like, holy crap, that's like cut and dry, you know?
Well, when you started saying his son, immediately I was thinking is like, oh, he's like maybe trying to like cover for his son because he knew that his son would maybe go back to jail or whatever, you know? I was thinking maybe because he's like, oh, since it technically isn't going to come up on me, they're not even going to think of him.
And it's not only that, like, I mean, OJ, it was admitted that he still had feelings for his ex-wife. Maybe not like maybe he didn't love her, but like he had feelings for her. Like, could you imagine you lost your ex-wife that you may have had feelings for, and then you're going to lose your son too to prison?
Yeah.
Like, and I wanted to ask you this because you have a son now, you have a kid, and
oh yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, do you have that feeling like you would do anything for your child?
Oh, 100%. We've had this. Okay. So we've had this discussion, and this was just a joke scenario, but it was actually at the end it like had some truth, and it was like, if there was a gun to your son or your wife, it was like, you know, a gun, you know which one's gonna get pulled. You know what I mean? It's like, my wife is gone at that point because my son is. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to be like that, but it's like,
and
my son.
And you know what's crazy? This is coming from the guy who didn't have kids. I would say the gun would go out at my kid. I would feel terrible about it.
Really?
But my thinking of it is like, well, I have a wife. Like, I can just make another one. Like, even though that's fucked up the way it sounds, and obviously nothing can ever replace the loss of that child. Like, I can still have that feeling of having a kid and having a kid with someone I love.
That's why. If you I think it has to do with like, once you have the child, there's something that just like activates in your activates in you. That's
what people were telling me, that there's like an intangible thing that happens when you have a kid, when you first look into your kid's eyes for the first time, and you just see like this pureness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's 100% like that.